Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and I work with a lot of individuals with attachment wounds. I work predominantly with dismissive avoidance or fearful avoidance leaning dismissive, so that's important to note. Today, I wanted to go over a topic that a lot of avoidants struggle with emotionally in their life. I think every single avoidant has felt this need to withdraw. And I wanted to make a video for the partners of avoidance, but also avoidant folks in general. What makes them have that need to withdraw in relationships? Now, this is a small list. However, there's plenty of ways for them to feel the need to withdraw. So please don't feel like this list is limited. There are plenty of them. And I'm going to make more videos, but I feel like this is important. I'm touching on a lot of the points that were brought up recently to me, like not just in my office, but also in the comments. And so that was the reason I wanted to make this video, to touch on a lot of the requests that you guys have, just for you guys to know what's happening, okay? So the very first way an avoidant will withdraw, what makes them withdraw, is that you imply somehow, whether it's direct or indirect, you might even express it, that the avoidant is wrong, that they are flawed, they are defective. There's something wrong with them. This is one of the biggest triggers. Avoidant individuals, I'm just being honest, they already know that they're a certain way. They might not know that they're an avoidant, but they know that they're different. Like, I'm promising you they do. And to be honest, many of them, they might not admit this, but they may have battled a portion of their life accepting themselves. Like, they didn't accept themselves at one point either. It's hard. It's hard being an avoidant. And they feel flawed. Deep inside they do. But the truth of the matter is that they didn't ask to be this way. And they don't know why they're this way. And they're like this because their parents or people in their life had really, really high expectations of them. And what ends up happening is often it's not just high expectations, it's also that they were discouraged from showing feelings, right? You're a big girl, you're the oldest, you gotta, show a strong face. You're, don't cry, like you're my tough little man, right? Like, you gotta do this. Or their parent, which is usually a combination, their parent is very emotional. Maybe their parent is anxious or fearful, or just maybe they have a personality disorder, and this parent shows so much emotions, the kid doesn't have room for their emotions. It's not there. And so what is the only option? They gotta put away their emotions, and they have to forget about them. And sometimes what ends up happening, this is really common with dismissive avoidance especially, they're reinforced. Good job for like hanging in there. Or, I'm so proud of you, you're always tough. Or like, you're the person I can lean on. And so they are reinforced. This person needs to put emotions away. Sometimes what happens is their parent, is in avoidant as well. So really common where I'll see like one parent is anxious or maybe fearful, or they have personality disorder, and the other parent is dismissive avoidant. And so that dismissive avoidant parent teaches the kid, good job putting your emotions away. That's what I thought. There's my big girl, or there's my tough little man, like whatever it is. They reinforce that, right? And the other parent reinforces it by being very emotional and leaning on their child. Not all the time. It could be one or the other or both. And so what ends up happening is this person, this child, now your partner, they don't have the tools. They didn't learn yet, and they will, but they learned in their own way, how to manage life and be emotional in their way, suppress certain things, act this way, feel this way, whatever their version is. And so then they grow up in their life, and they've had other relationships before you maybe, and they've been told that they're unemotional. Maybe their parents, maybe one parent or both parents had mentioned like they're unemotional. Maybe their siblings have said like, you don't have any feelings, you're a robot. Why are you so detached? How come you don't care? How come you don't look at me? Why are you always on your phone? Whatever it is, they hear these things all the time. They hear it from friends. And so they are reinforced that they're flawed. But the person they love, now you're saying it, that they're flawed, that really hurts. Now, you can still say, hey, I expect you to open up, or X, Y, and Z. You can say it a certain way, but saying like you're detached, you're crazy, what's wrong with you? You're too sensitive, you have this, or why are you so cold? You don't care about anybody. All you care about is yourself. You're so selfish. You have created the same repetitive feeling they have in their mind why they're not in a relationship. And you're actually making them remember, okay, this is why I should be alone. Like you have actually opened the door to their exit. And so please be careful about that. I know it's hard because avoidants are difficult. I know they can be difficult. But if you understand them and you learn, it's actually not as difficult and it can be simple. It takes time, but it can be difficult from your emotional perspective. And I understand that. But try to reword how you say it. Doesn't mean you don't get to have your feelings. I'm not saying that. Just reword it so that it lands better to your partner, okay? The next one is, oh gosh, this one is bad too. And it's not your fault, but this one, avoidants don't like this either. If you micromanage or explain how something should be done. And seriously, this can even be like sending a video, like even related to emotions, right? Because it depends on what the video is. If the video is saying like, oh, the avoidant is, a broken individual and they're hurt and they open that, they're going to think that you're saying that to them and it's going to really hurt, right? It can even be like, maybe they're having trouble fixing something or cooking something and you're like, oh, I'm going to help them and make it taste better. Let me send this. And you send this video and instructions. They're gonna be triggered typically. Or if you said, I don't know, maybe your air conditioning broke, right? The air conditioning in the house. You guys live together and the AC person is arriving at a certain time. So you have a couple days before the air conditioning is fixed. And so you guys have maybe a window unit, whatever, and you're using fans and you are saying, the house is going to be really humid. Let's open the window. And they said, I'm going to open the sliding door when I'm cooking. So, just leave it. Don't open any windows. And they said, I don't want to open windows right now. I'm going to open the sliding door. And then in like 2 or 3 minutes, or maybe even an hour, you bring up the same thing over and over and you're explaining to them why this has to be done a certain way for humid reasons. Like you have to open all the windows. Like there's another way to say it. You don't have to explain it. That makes them feel like you don't trust their decision. They already said what they're going to do. You can agree to disagree, but don't tell them how to do things. Don't micromanage, don't suffocate, or not, I shouldn't say that word. I know you guys don't like the word suffocate. I'm sorry. Don't explain to them step by step how it's done, because all that's going to make them feel is that you are trying to change them. You don't appreciate the way they think. You think you are disrespecting them, and that's going to make them withdraw. So just be careful with how you explain things. The next one is lack of respect in general. Okay? So I don't know how I'm going to okay, this is how I'm going to explain it. And sorry if this comes across as triggering, just let me know, because sometimes, everyone's not perfect and I don't explain things the most perfect way either. So I'm going to try my best to explain this one, okay? Sometimes what happens in relationships when I'm working with couples, I see that both partners want their partner to act like them, their own attachment style, instead of embracing what their partner brings to the dynamic. And so what ends up happening is the partner, especially if you're avoidant, you feel incredibly disrespected. So if the way an avoidant decompresses is they, veg out, watch TV and eat chips after a hard day of work, and you come in there and you're like, chips are not healthy. I made you a turkey sandwich. Let me open the window. You need some sunlight. And now like the sunlight is going on their TV screen and they're like, everything is becoming exactly what they didn't want. And for you, maybe that's how you relax, right? You talk it out, you want to eat something healthy or whatever it is. And they are just like, I don't want to right now. I will maybe tomorrow. Right now, I just want to be alone here by myself, relaxing, because my day was really, really rough. And if you don't let me decompress, I'm going to say things you don't want to hear, right? And so let me be alone. Let me do what I need to do. But you're trying to change how they react, how they behave, how they feel. Maybe it can be like, in general, right now, they will talk about it and they should talk about what's bothering them, but not right now because it's a little too fresh. But maybe you want to talk about it right now. You want to talk when you're in your stress day. You want to talk about it right away. They don't. They need an hour. They need a day. They will tell you. They should tell you, but maybe not right away. Understand that their way they do things is not because they don't care about you. It's just their method. And respecting that method might help them to heal and be better as a person, but it also might help them to feel loved by you. And when you disrespect them, especially continuously, they're not going to feel safe in this relationship and they will withdraw because now they're not allowed. They're not even, in their mind, they're like, I can't even watch TV in my own house and eat chips. I'm picked on for everything. I can't even breathe. Please let me be myself. And they're willing to change. Trust me, a lot of avoidant individuals, if you guys are in a relationship and they are open to you and they've been with you for a long time, some of them want to change. I don't know if they're going to, but a lot of them do. And they tell you, I'm going to change, but please, you gotta let me be myself sometimes. You gotta let me breathe. I can't be 100% the way you want. This is just the way I operate. And so respect how they are, and try and think about what areas you're okay with respecting or not respecting, accepting about them, and what areas you're not. Because sometimes what happens is if you haven't organized what you want from your partner, you don't recognize that not everything needs to be changed right away. Think about what is a priority, and maybe you guys can focus on that as a couple, okay? The next one is constantly bringing up an issue without accepting your partner's response. This will make an avoidant withdraw, and it could make them leave. So just be careful about this one. I know y'all don't mean it. And you don't realize because you're trying to help. But it can just be perceived a separate way. It can be perceived in a way where you probably didn't mean it like that, but they hear it like that, which is why I'm making this video. So you guys can love each other more palatable to the other person's perception, right? So let's say you tell your partner, I want to have Christmas together. You guys want to do Christmas together, right? And then maybe after that, you guys go to separate family events, whatever it may be. But maybe for this particular reason, let's say both of your families are out of state and this year you guys don't want to travel, whatever reason. This is just an example I'm making up. You now want Christmas with your partner, okay? And maybe your partner's saying, no, maybe this Christmas I just want to be alone. Let's say that's the perspective. They said, no, this is an opportunity. Traveling for Christmas is usually really stressful for me. So I'm actually glad that for whatever reason this year, I'm not going to be traveling. I want to be alone. And then maybe we can hang out this weekend. But on Christmas Day, I don't have to work. I don't have to do anything. I want to be in my house and I want to be alone and I want to, water my plants and hang out with my dog. Okay, sounds good, right? But maybe you don't like that response, and I get it. You want to be with your partner. That's great, by the way. I don't think you should change that. But maybe there's another way to look at it. They did say they want to see you Saturday, so maybe you're okay with that. Or you can say, okay, we can see each other Saturday. Can we make it a more Christmas-inspired event? Maybe we can cook Christmas food together, what you would typically. I don't know how your families do it. Everyone's different, but a lot of people, they have a specific menu, right? Or maybe things are inspired that way, or maybe however you guys want to do presents that year. Maybe adjust things a little bit, depending on your perspective, your religion, whatever it is. Adjust things a little bit so that you guys can have an event. Maybe you guys can have a separate Christmas or whatever, and then do a little mini Christmas together on Saturday. Find a way to compromise. So when you constantly bring up the same thing without accepting their response, they basically told you no, at least this year, right now, right? They said no, and you're not letting them take that no. Rather, if they say no, you can say, okay, what about this? That's a better way to take their no instead of trying to change it to 100% align with what you perceive. And I know you're not doing it on purpose. You're trying to figure it out, but this is a way to do it. Meet in the middle, okay? And the last one is not acknowledging your partner's feelings as valuable. Instead, what ends up happening is you end up labeling their emotion as defensive or their attachment style or like a perceived flaw, right? So you might say avoidants don't know how to take accountability. When that is not the issue, avoidance, maybe that is, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just that you're telling them something that they don't agree on or you don't understand it. So maybe you're saying you don't like me and you're saying you're not being accountable for X, Y, and Z. But it's not that they don't like you. They're just doing it because of their own reason. So you're asking them to be accountable of something they did not do. Sometimes that's the issue, right? And so understanding that they're feeling when they're telling you, no, that's not why I do this. I'm doing it for this reason. If you keep ignoring that, you're not acknowledging their feelings, and now they don't feel safe with you. And they don't feel like they can be respected by you. And so it will make them withdraw. And I know you don't mean it like that, but it's something to recognize. And by the way, I'm not picking on anybody who's a partner of an avoidant. People operate so differently. I'm actually surprised that relationships are as successful as they are because it's not easy. So don't blame yourself. Don't blame your partner. That's life. You want this person integrated in your life for as long as possible. And so you guys are going to have to figure it out. If that's the goal, right? Remember, let's say your goal is to be with this person for as long as possible in terms of commitment, right? Both of you guys typically are going to have that goal. How are you guys going to get there? Sorry, someone's got to adjust somewhere. Both of you, actually. And to be honest, you're going to both have to continuously adjust, and you both will have to continuously change. And that is just part of relationships. And so I don't want you to feel like I'm picking on anxious or the partner of avoidance. No. I know you guys are trying your absolute best, and it's not always easy. And by wanting to love your partner, you even watching this video already shows me you care a lot about your partner. So don't pick on yourself. It's okay if you did these things. It's all right, as if the avoidant is perfect. Avoidants do things too. Everyone does things. It's okay. So don't be hard on yourself, please. It's all right. I hope that things will work out for you guys, okay? Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.